This is Art Television.
Coming up, State of Business, sponsored by
SLT Mobitel Fiber. Deshi Fiber Balavegya.
IWS Aviation.
Very good evening. Welcome to the State of Business on our television. I'm Sachin Ratnayaka. Let's look at the headlines first. Budget 2022 will be a non-traditional budget, Secretary to the President says. Batik should be promoted within the country, Minister Dallas tells the officials. News in detail. The COP26, the UN Climate Change Conference, held as a critical moment in the fight against climate change, is attended by around 25,000 representing a wide range of fields, including heads of state and government representatives from 197 countries. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa also added that Sri Lanka's updated nationally determined contributions aim to reduce emissions towards achieving carbon neutrality by 2050.
This event takes place at a critical time for humanity. As a developing tropical island nation with abundant biodiversity, Sri Lanka is deeply aware of the impacts of climate change. Our rich philosophical heritage, shaped by Lord Buddha's teachings, places great value on environmental integrity. Sustainability is therefore at the heart of our national policy framework. Sri Lanka's updated nationally determined contributions aims to reduce emissions towards achieving carbon neutrality by 2050. We have prioritized enhancing national forest cover with initiatives underway to increase our carbon sequestration capacity by 7% by 2030. We will increase contribution of renewable energy sources to 70% of national energy needs by 2030 and are taking steps to phase out use of fossil fuels. Sri Lanka is also proud to be a co-lead of the Global Energy Compact for no new coal power.
President Gotabaya Rajapaksa said that Sri Lanka is proud to be a co-lead of the Global Energy Compact for no new coal power. The President made these remarks addressing the World Leaders Summit COP26, which held in Glasgow, Scotland on Monday.
Sri Lanka recently restricted imports of chemical fertilizers, pesticides and weedicides due to public health concerns, water contamination, soil degradation and biodiversity impacts. Although opposed by entrenched lobbies, this has created opportunities for innovation and investment into organic agriculture that will be healthier and more sustainable in future. Reactive nitrogen emissions from overuse of artificial fertilizer is a major contributor to climate change. In 2019, Sri Lanka spearheaded the Colombo Declaration on Sustainable Nitrogen Management, which seeks to have nitrogen waste by 2030. We look forward to more countries joining this initiative.
Minister of Mass Media Dallas Perumal suggests that as a local product, batik should be promoted within the country. Addressing a function held in Colombo recently, Minister Alahaperumas said the idea that the batik are only for the tourists should be changed.
අපි හිතන්නේ මේ බතික් හදන්නේ සුද්දන්ට විතරයි කියලා. දාසිරි ඇමතුමා බතික් ඇඳුමක් අඳන් පාර්ලිමේන්තුවට එනවා. හැබැයි අපි හිතනවා මේක මේ විදේශී සංචාරකයන්ට තමයි තියෙන්නේ කියලා. අපිට අකපද මේක. අපි ඇඳම ඇඳෙන්නේ නැද්ද? සමහර ලේකම්තුමාට යෝජනාවක් විදිහට කරා. මම ගෝ ඇමතුමා ආව නම් මම කරන්න දැන් හිටියේ ප්‍රවර්ධනයේ පැත්ත. මිනිසුන්ගේ මේක උපසංස්කෘතික ලක්ෂණයක් බාරපත් කරන්නට ඕනේ. අපේ ජාතික ලක්ෂණයක් පුරුද්දක් බවට අත්‍යන්ත සහ බතික් කර්මාන්තය පත් කරන්නට ඕනේ. මම අධ්‍යාපන ඇමතිවරයා හිටියනම් මම ඒක යෝජනා කරන්නට ඕන දිනේෂ් කුමාරතුමා ඇමතුමාට එතුමා කරයි. දවසක පාසල් දරුවන්ට අපි බතික් ඇඳුමින් දවසක ඉස්කෝලේට එන්න කියලා කියන්නේ. කමක් නෑ දැන් මේ රසල මේ කොරෝනා වසංගතක වෙලාවේ අධ්‍යාපන අමාත්‍යාංශිකව කැමැති ඇඳුමකින් දරුවෝ එන්න. ප්‍රශ්නයක් නෑ. ඇයි අපේ දේශීය කර්මාන්තයක් ප්‍රවර්ධනය කරන්න. ලේකම්තුමනි බතික් දිනය කියලා දිනයක් ප්‍රකාශනපත් කරන්න. බතික් දිනයක්. ඉතින් ඉල්ලීමක් කරන අපි ඔක්කොම විතර බතික් අඳින්න ඕනේ. ප්‍රවර්ධනය කරමු.
Stay tuned for more news. We'll be right back after a small commercial break.
අන්තර්ජාලය ෆයිබර් සමගින් බලකැන්වෙන තැන ඉස්සර වගේ නෙවෙයි දැන්. ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ ප්‍රථම වේගවත්ම සහ පුළුල්ම ප්‍රීමියම් ෆයිබර් අන්තර්ජාලය SLT Mobitel Fiber. දේශීය ෆයිබර් බලවේගය.
Welcome back to the State of Business. Secretary to the President Dr. P.B. Jayasundara yesterday said that he believes a budget with a new vision and program that goes beyond the traditional exercise would be presented to the country next week. President Secretary Jayasundara, along with Finance Secretary S.R. Artigala, spoke on the upcoming budget to the journalists at a media briefing titled Future Budget and the Economic Situation of the Country, held at the Presidential Media Center via video technology. President Secretary Dr. P.B. Jayasundara said that priority would be given to the fields of green economy, renewable energy, information technology and digital governance, and that special attention had been drawn to increasing the income of the country. Jayasundara said that the production volume of goods and services should be increased to generate revenue for the country. Therefore, he added, revenue policies that can increase the volume of goods and services will be included in this budget. The Secretary also pointed out that the rural agrarian economy should be uplifted and the development of infrastructure facilities in this regard had been identified as a priority. He also said that a country conducive for local entrepreneurs, new investors and tourists should be created, and that in addition to the country's resources, new investment opportunities would be created for the country throughout these initiatives. The Secretary to the President pointed out that many in the region are looking at our country to obtain financial advantages of its geographical location, and further added that the nation's economic revival requires alternative centers. He stressed that this economic revival will not take place within the existing economic model, but on the requirements based on a green economy, renewable energy, information technology and digital governance. Presidential Secretary P.B. Jayasundara also said that Sri Lanka aims to make a significant reduction in the country's runway fiscal deficit in 2022 and have a non-traditional budget. Treasury Secretary Sajith Artigala said a new economic growth is expected along with the normalization of the country. Senior officials said as the country is also facing severe monetary instability due to artificially created low interest rates. Presidential Secretary P.B. Jayasundara told that the budget which is going to be presented next week won't be a traditional budget. He stressed that from the mingling he had with the Finance Minister and Finance Ministry officials, he had a clear understanding that it will be a transformation budget for the country's economy. Referring to President Gotabaya Rajapaksa's election manifesto, he said that the budget will focus on increasing the country's revenue. Treasury Secretary Sajith Tatigala, who joined with the President's secretary, said a new economic growth is expected along with the normalization of the country. Secretary Tatigala also said that they are planning to reduce the budget deficit by a significant level. Maintaining a higher budget deficit is against the state's fiscal policy. Tatigala further explained that the budget will curtail non-priority spending while maintaining funds for the government's development projects unhindered. He assured that the budget deficit will be reduced to 4.5% or 5% of the gross domestic product. Sri Lanka's last year budget deficit hit close to 14% of gross domestic product, which was reported 11.1% through number juggling its worst in 37 years after a reckless tax cut in December 2019, shortly before a coronavirus pandemic hit. Let's now look at a few more stories for the day in brief. Air Seychelles has scheduled a special flight to operate to Sri Lanka from Seychelles International Airport this Saturday, and the returning flight is scheduled for the 18th November 2021 from Bandaranaike International Airport. The first flight will leave from Seychelles this Saturday, November 6th at 9 a.m. and will land in Colombo at 3:45 p.m. on the same day. The flight will leave for Seychelles again on November 18th at 9 a.m. and will reach Seychelles at 5:45 p.m. The Consulate General of Sri Lanka in Guangzhou participated in the Guangzhou Fair from the 27th to 30th November 2021, organized by the Guangzhou Municipal People's Government, and promoted Ceylon tea and tourism with the cooperation of the agent of the Sri Lanka Tea Talk Company based in China. The consulate had designed and decorated the Sri Lankan stall with vibrant pictures showcasing Sri Lanka's culture, tourism, tea and some handicrafts. There were over 100 local and international enterprises, including 13 consulates based in China, which participated in the exposition with 45,000 visitors to the fair. Ambassador of Sri Lanka to China, Dr. Palita Kohana, participated in the 2021 Shanghai Cooperation Organization Financial Cooperation and Capital Market Development Forum held in Jiaizhou and Qingdao on the 27th and 28th of October 2021. The goal of the forum was to promote cooperation in the industrial chain and the financial markets and capital markets of the SCO countries and broaden the in-depth exchanges and cooperation between Qingdao, Shandong Province and SCO countries. More than 30 foreign dignitaries, diplomatic envoys and enterprise representatives, as well as nearly 20 large domestic and foreign financial institutions and enterprises attended the forum. Stay tuned for stock updates. We'll be right back after a small commercial break.
News, views, highlights, updates and opinions. This is Wake Up with I.
Welcome back to the State of Business. Colombo Stock Exchange ended on mixed notes today. The all-share price index gained 140.31 points to close at 10,412.02, and the S&P SL20 dropped 8.44 points to close at 3,660.12. The turnover was 6.1 billion rupees and over 188 million shares were traded. Coming up next with foreign exchange rates. With that, we wind up today's news. Thank you for watching. See you tomorrow with State of Business at the usual time. Until then, take care. Good night.
State of Business was sponsored by
SLT Mobitel Fiber. Deshe Fiber Balavegya.
IWS Aviation.